I just feel it's an important thing for people to be aware of it, that we are a work in progress always.
Absolutely. I always say that too. I'm always like, we're a work of art. You're never finished. You're always evolving. You have to continue just like developing yourself, exploring who you are. And I think that's where like, not happiness, but being content lies. It's just like finding something new to do and to learn and then getting that done.
Yes.
So firstly, I'd love to talk about one or two main things that you think are the main like obstacle that gets in the way of people's growth.
There are so many things that are asking for our attention, pulling at our attention, that's so much noise that we are contending with on a day-to-day basis. We actually don't have a lot of time to actually sit down and be with ourselves and actually say, okay, what is it that I really want? What is it that I really need? What is it that I want to do? We're not having those internal conversations or dialogues with ourselves. So that's where a lot of people don't actually know what area of their life do they actually want to grow in. So growth and self-awareness actually go hand in hand for me. I just don't know where one exists and the other doesn't. You could be growing, but that's not the area that you want to be growing in. Or you could be doing something, but that's because the world is asking that of you rather than something that you want to be doing. So self-awareness and self-growth for me really are one and the same.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what would you say are some really healthy reflection questions to ask yourself to just make sure that you're in a growth mindset, make sure you're open to feedback?
So one of the things, before you ask yourself any questions or before you ask for feedback, come to it with a commitment to the truth and honesty. So I'm going to look at this very honestly. This does not define the entirety of my being. This is a data point. It is feedback. It is one person's experience of me. It is not who I am. And I think if you come to it with that sort of mindset that I'm going to ask Mona for feedback and Mona's going to tell me Mona's experience of me. And if Mona says, well, sometimes you can feel like you're not very present and sometimes you can feel like quite disconnected from me, I'm not going to take that personally. I'm going to take that as feedback about Mona's experience about me. And from there, I will move forward. So that's one thing that I would say before you ask anyone for anything or before you check in with yourself about reflection questions, you have to truly be committed to the truth. Now, why do I say that? Because one of the things that really gets in the way of people's development and their growth, we like to just feel good. We just want to be told that we're good and that we're a 10 out of 10 and that we are just amazing. And it's really hard to hear that we are not that, especially when we're giving it everything we've got, but in everything we got might be an 8 out of 10 that day. So we don't show up a 10 out of 10 every day to every conversation, to every experience. So being open to the truth is going to be very important. And I say this because it's very hard to do, because it does trigger a lot of shame, a lot of self-criticism, a lot of harshness, and that makes us shut down and move away, and that's what we don't grow. That's one thing. But the type of questions you want to ask yourself, so people are always like, okay, how do I begin? One thing would be to go where the emotions are high. So if I have a very difficult interaction with someone, you say something to me and I get really triggered, that's the thing that I'm going to go visit tonight. So I will deal with this conversation, I will end it, and then I will say, okay, what was it about what Mona said that really was very triggering for me? So the trigger is the treasure. When it comes to work feedback, when it comes to kids feedback, when it comes to personal development, when it comes to courses you're taking, wherever you are triggered, there is a potential for a gold mine of growth. By the way, Mona didn't say anything back, okay? She was really polite and she's been really sweet, but I'm just using this as an example.
I wanted to ask you, because I know like a lot of people can kind of be defensive, especially like if you have a lot of sisters and they're always giving you feedback. It's hard to be open to like feedback and growth because it's kind of like they're so related. Like, how do you advise for people to be open to growth, especially when you're a bit sensitive about certain things?
Yes. Adopt an experience mindset. So I think one way that I have found it easier to hear people's feedback is if I say this is their experience of me rather than this is me. So differentiate yourself from their experience, and that will help you not take things personally. I think phrases like practice makes perfect, the 10 out of 10, how can I be a 10 out of 10? Drop those altogether, because life is never going to be a 10 out of 10. If you're a 10 out of 10 here, something else is going to drop there. It is a constant juggling, balancing act. Keep your growth goals, I would say, realistic. Make them challenging, but realistic. Another thing that I would say, that self-compassion is the way to growth. Those are some of the things that I would say would be most important to maintain a growth mindset.
I love that. Gosh, I have so many questions that keep popping up as you speak. You give so many great ideas. I'm gathering thoughts. Honestly, I feel like even myself, I'm obsessed with personal development and growth, but I feel like I learned so much from you today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.